Now, when you're working for Burger King, right? No matter your age, can you sleep with a customer or have sex with the customer? No, because you get terminated, right? For one. Right. You can't have sex with someone on the job, right? Not even in the Navy, right? Okay, even if, right, you're on the ship filled with men and women, hypothetically, right? You still have to not harass females working on the ship, right? Right. Now, males in the Navy, are they supposed to have sex with each other? No, it's against the UCMJ, right? Anyway. Now, even if you're gay and in the Navy, you're not telling people like the dude making a movie about the Marines or something, right? That's not the problem. The problem is the gay things, right? In the military itself, right? Is not allowed, right? Now, if you don't have sex, right, with a man and you're in the military, that's not the issue, right? Is if you do, right? Then it's against the UCMJ, you can't do it. You get the captain's master, court martial, or whatever, right? Is the punishable offense for sodomy, which is, again, something you can't do in the military, period. Hypothetically, there too, right? Now, if my shipmates ask me if I'm gay, I'm not telling them no, right? Simply because I don't want to commit sodomy with them, right? No, that's the point. I'm not supposed to anyway, right? I'm telling them no because I'm not gay, right? Two. One, he's just asking me if I'm gay, so I said no, right? See, I see it as a test or something. I don't know what the man's up to, right? I think he's testing me, so I say no. Right? He's not supposed to ask me like we're supposed to have sex either. Nor is he not supposed to train me if I say no, right? If he don't, he's confused about what he's supposed to be doing in the Navy, right? He's trying to, according to what I learned from school, which I'm still capable of learning things. The problem is I hear voices which confuse me because you're not acting right? Toward me, right? You're coming down on me hard on an incident that might have involved a 15-year-old girl working in the store where she said she was 37 and the person hiring her can't work in that store and she's 15, right? There's a difference between McDonald's and a child working at McDonald's too. See, McDonald's tell their employees not to have sex with customers, right? I don't know if you can or not in the nail salon, right? By the way. I don't know nothing about that rule. But again, right? I'm serious, right? I don't know if you can or not, technically. But I do know most employees, right, in a restaurant are told not to have sex with the customers, right? Now, here's the point, for instance, about Chinatown, though. Even if I was to, the bathrooms are in a door area separated from the whole restaurant, right? For example, right? If I was to do it in a restaurant where there's a separate bathroom, for example, there's doors on the bathroom, right? What's the difference between that, right? Again, and McDonald's, right? If you were hypothetically to envision that as a fantasy, right? Do you understand what I mean? That right? Now I know in the McDonald's I'm not going to get laid. I'm not trying to get laid in the McDonald's, right? But Chinese buffets, if I'm interested in Asian women, might be different. If you know what I mean, right? I'm joking, but I shouldn't have to, right? Either, right? Now, the law about sex in the bathroom. One, is a misdemeanor, not a felony, right? To do it anyway in a public bathroom, which means anyone can walk on you. But the thing is, if you have a stall, right, and you doing something in the stall and the girl's helping you out in the stall and you go into the female's bathroom, right, for example. It's hypothetical. If you're disabled or not, right, and you need help in the bathroom or something, right, and she's helping you, or not, that's up to her, right? You're not forcing her. either, right? Right. Now, you gotta still make sure, though, if she goes in there with you, or you give her a massage or something, she says yes or no, right? Right. That's all you gotta do, right? Same with the Comcast girl, for example. We'll call her April. I don't know her real name, but let's say we call her April. Because I met her in April. I don't know her real name, right? But the weird thing about that encounter is I was expecting someone to come fix the cable. The girl's supposed to show up, knock on the door, and I'm supposed to let her in, right? Or ring the doorbell, right? Either way, my cable wasn't fixed. And I lost approximately 25 minutes of time, right? Well, that's enough in my lifestyle before I met her to know we could have even had sex during that time. But if the girl's the only one I see there, right? Who's the only one who could cause me to black out? The girl. The difference with the nail salon is there was a bunch of people there. I don't know what exactly happened, but I'm there for over an hour extra, right? When I'm just supposed to get my nails done, which takes 40 minutes, right? Now, it's one thing, even with the Comcast girl, to lose, say, almost half an hour, right? That's weird in and of itself, and my cable wasn't fixed, and the girl's trying to avoid doing the job, and I let her leave, right? I don't know what's going on, right? But the only thing that could have happened is when she was there, if we had sex, alright, because I talked her into it, right, that's still, if she's of age, consensual sex. Right. She let the client talk her into sex, too, and even though she's not legally, right, supposed to do it or not, according to Comcast's rules or something, right, it's still in my home, and it's still up to her if she did it or not, for example, too, right? Even if we went into the bedroom or did it in the living room or wherever, it's just hypothetical, right? We could have did it anywhere, right? In the house, like she's in the house, right? Now, her job is to fix the cable. When she got here, which is around 10 o'clock to begin with, right, I was expecting her and about to put on my shorts anyway, because the Comcast person was already on the way, right? I knew that. The problem is, when the female got here, right, and I didn't know she was a female until after I came too, right? So it's like, she came here, supposed to fix the cable, didn't fix the cable, and was trying to leave before she could fix the cable, and I'm trying to make her stay, right? And I don't know what's going on, right? It's kind of like I lost time, not because of me, but her, right? Difference there, too, is I know it was only her who could have gotten to the house or not, right? Again, right? But she's got to be old enough to drive a van, right? By herself, right? So she, again, is over 6 feet, right? She can consent to sex, right? In Georgia. What we're talking about is you're so confused about the rules for sex, right? You don't understand what Paul means in, for instance, 1 Corinthians 7, right? What he's talking about is whether you let someone marry or not, right? And he's not trying to say make someone marry or don't make someone marry. What he really means is it's their choice. If you're reading the chapter right, that's all he's saying. There it is. Okay? Right. He's not saying they have to marry. He's not saying they don't have to marry, right? That's ambiguous. Why is it ambiguous? Because, really, marriage is up to a couple. Yeah. Yeah. Now, was Aquila and Priscilla married? Yes. They both became Christians too. Right. But did they have to divorce? No. They didn't. Right. But if married, they have to still render due benevolence to each other as husband and wife, right? Until they went on to heaven, right? Or during their lifespan, right? Here, we all do that, right? Right. So that's what Paul's talking about. In chapter 7, if you read the whole chapter through, right? You don't take what Jesus said about divorce, being adultery, and not apply it to what Paul said as well, if you understand what I mean, right? What did Paul say, though, about divorce? Can you divorce a person for any cause, right? Except for fornication, Jesus said. But fornication is adultery, so divorce is granted to an unbeliever, right? If your spouse is committing adultery against you, they don't want to be with you, right? Right. You should what? Divorce them, right? So yeah, that's what it means. Right. Instead of stoning them, by the way. Right. You're not reading it right. What you're doing is twisting it like the devil would into saying something that's not saying about divorce, right? Or marriage itself, right? When if you really read the whole thing about marriage and divorce, it's not telling you what you can or can't do. It's not telling you anything specifically, but that if you get married, stay faithful to your spouse until you are either dead or divorced the spouse, right? Right. That's basically what it means, right? But if you cheat on the spouse, right? The craziness of the law of Moses is that you can stone the spouse and the man she was with, right? Well, Jesus had a similar situation where they brought a woman to him, right? Or a wife, right? Whose wife? Well, in Judaism, right, only a husband, again, this is your problem with the story, right? In the old Torah law, which is the 5 books of Moses, it tells you what to do if a wife cheats on her husband, right? You're to take both parties, the male and the female, bring them to the person they committed the adultery against, which, why is the woman brought to Jesus if they don't think Jesus' wife, right? See, what you're missing here is someone told you that's not Jesus' wife, right? Well, how do they know? Right. One. Who's telling you that it wasn't Jesus' wife? Because only the husband, if she committed adultery, is the only one you can bring her to, right? Do you understand what I mean? Right. Damn. If Jesus is her husband and they're bringing her to him, why are they bringing her to him if she's not his wife, right? They're telling Jesus, your wife was with another man. We want to see if you're going to stone her according to Moses' law without us bringing the husband, the man she was with, to you, right? That's basically, in a nutshell, what they're doing to him, right? They knew the woman was having sex with another man, right? They knew Jesus was in the temple early in the morning preaching, right? Well, who has sex with someone's wife early that morning but an adulterer, right? Now you're to bring the adulterer and the adulteress to the husband for him to determine whether to stone them, not the woman only, right? As pertaining to the law of Moses. There's only one situation where you can stone her alone, right? And that's if she didn't cry out, right? And was raped, though even then you're to stone both the male and the female, I think. Still. I don't know. Now, if she cried out, you can stone the male only. But if she didn't cry out, you still were supposed to stone them both if they were raped, if she was raped or something, right? Now, the difference is, right, we don't know the details of how they caught them in the act of adultery, right? Except she was caught in the act of adultery, which means she was committing fornication against her husband, right? So Jesus said in chapter 19 about divorce, which is, why are you asking about divorce before he goes to die on the cross, right? This is after that happened in John, right? By the way. Mm-hmm. Did he have to divorce his wife because he committed fornication? Right. If you read John 19 right, that implies he gave her a bill of divorcement because, again, like the woman at the well, who was divorced 5 times and living with a dude, right, for example, right, instead of punishing her by stoning her and the man, so they didn't even bring the man, he simply forgave her. And even Sarah called Abraham Lord, dim butt, right? Lord don't mean nothing. But that, it could be her husband, right? Too. Jesus is everybody's Lord, including his wife. Fool. Peter told you that. You're not reading the Bible, you're twisting it like Satan would to get Jesus to jump off the Temple Mount. Or to bake the stone into bread. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're not reading it like it's a book, right? You're taking parts of the book and putting it with other parts of the book, right? And taking it out of context to change the whole message, right? That's the problem, right? When you do that with any book, even War and Peace, right? You're missing the point of the whole story of the book, too. One, the Jewish Bible is a moral Bible, right? Yes. But even certain people broke the Jewish law. Hosea, Samuel, Samson, right? Technically speaking, right? But that was also because Israel was going through becoming a nation with the other nations around them, right? And they too wanted the rules before they went into the promised land, right? Now, why was God trying to get them to go into the promised land? Yeah, they didn't want to go into it for some reason, right? Because they feared the people in the land, right? Well, what is the law about? Rules. What rules? Whose rules? The people there around? I don't know. But when you gather 613 laws, right? Okay. You're trying to please somebody, right? In the first place. You don't want to break a rule. Huh. Well, that's a problem, right? For some people, right? Some of your rules are dumb and stupid to them, right? They don't make sense to them, right? Not just to transgender people either who want to wear women's clothing or cross-dressers or whatever you want to call it, right? But again, right? That's just a rule, right? That means some people might want to wear a woman's clothing. Why? I don't know. Whatever floats their boat. But it is just simply that. Clothing. Whatever sexual misidentity they have or not in their head, right, about it, right? Is it a sin or is it a sin, right? You know what I mean, right? Is it something you have to punish the person for and put them in jail for, which all you're doing is wearing clothes made for a woman, right? Or if a woman wears clothes made for a man, right? Or puts a belt around her waist, which is what John mentions about Jesus' chest as well, right? Because you're not reading something about the Bible that's very confusing to you, right? And what you're doing is like the devil twisting it, right? Another point is, why did Solomon get 1,000 women, right? Well, I'll tell you simply why. 300 kings had 300 daughters and gave all 300 daughters to Solomon to marry. Not only that, these women had either one, two, or three, sometimes I don't know the actual number, maid servants. Well, there's another person in the Bible who had more than one wife. Not the only one, but someone else. His name was Jacob, right? He had 4 ladies to have his children, right? 2 of them were the women who were supposed to be the mistresses, right? Servant, right? And even Abraham had a servant named Eleazar, right? And Sarah, a servant named Hagar, right? Who was an Egyptian woman, right? Now, the difference is, though, if Abraham had died without an heir, who would have inherited for him, right? Eleazar, right? Same with Hagar, right? Now, the weird thing is, though, right? God is telling Abraham he's going to have a son with Sarah. Well, Abraham and Sarah are about 75 or so when they are told this, right? Right. To go into that land anyway, right? Now, 13 years, right, before Isaac is born, right, Ishmael was born, right? Well, that's the odd part of the story, right? Abraham is 99 years old, right, when he's told by God anyway, and Sarah is 90, right? I think, that they're going to have Isaac, right? But the weird thing about Isaac and Ishmael, right, is if you take 100 from 13, that's just what? 87? So 87, right, is when Hagar and Ishmael hooked up, right? Oops. Hagar was given to Abraham to make Ishmael, right? And he hooked up with the servant girl of Sarah. Paul covers this in Galatians chapter 4. Now, a slave woman is different from your wife, right? Now, what's the difference if a slave woman has a son